Alright, so for anybody that's transporting mail on the Titanic, or anybody that was transporting mail on the Titanic, I do have some unfortunate news. The ship did sink. Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and in today's video we are back in Stormworks, and today we are checking out the RMS Titanic. Well, not the one that's floating and fine, well, one that's on the bottom of the ocean. So yeah guys, let's get into the video. Now before we go diving down to the wreck, I want to shout out another content creator on Stormworks, and that is Endoskull. Endoskull basically did the same thing that I'm about to do. He just made a really cool video on it, and I recommend you check that out. And I actually found out about the wreck through his channel, so yeah, check him out. If you're not subscribed, go subscribe to him. He makes some great stuff and also runs the Stormy Awards. And if you don't know what that is a really cool award show which basically features people's builds in the game. So yeah, go check him out, go subscribe. Let's go ahead and let's dive down to the Titanic. Alright, so I've got pretty much everything started up. Now the last time that this was used in, well, one of my videos was with Ben. So we're going to see if we can actually operate this here, and I do remember last time we did use this, I did sink it by opening up the hatches, which we're not going to do today because I died. Well, we might do it. I don't know. We'll see what happens. So yeah, let's go diving. Alright, so the ballast is, well, it looks to be pretty much full, so let's go ahead and let's go down. Now to make it more realistic, we're going to change it to night, so it now looks a little more spooky and, again, a little more realistic. Alright, I do see the bottom, and you can see that green glow as well, which is super eerie. Let's go ahead, let's turn ourselves around, and whoa, we're shaking a little bit. It's a little strange, but oh, I do see it, and there it is. So we just saw the wreck for just a moment there. Alright, there it is. Wow. Alright, so here we are in the break area, and you can imagine anything in this area was destroyed when the ship sank. It's, well, right where the ship split into two pieces. Well, multiple pieces if you count the tower sections and whatnot. But, yeah, I do see a little bit of remnants of the dining room and the lounge as well. Now, you may have already noticed, but this is based off the 1985 version of the wreck, so when it was discovered. And it was much better off when it was discovered compared to now, of course, because deterioration is one thing, and also you have to consider that the subs, they're not leaving the wreck alone. They're landing on the wreck, and they're creating damage, and it's not super good for the ship to be damaged, especially in such a fragile state. I know people talk about raising the Titanic. Obviously, that has been debunked, and, well, it's not really debunked. It sort of just cannot happen, because if it did, the ship would just break into multiple pieces. I mean, they raised that giant chunk of hull. I'll put a video in the top right corner if you want to watch that. But that was raised, and that was done pretty well. I mean, it did break off once and fall back to the seabed, but was then recovered and now sits in the middle of a desert in a pyramid. You can watch a video about that in the top right corner. Alright, so I've stepped back a little bit, and this is just the eeriest view. I mean, look at this. This is super spooky. I mean, the ship just falls off into nothing, and it almost entices me to go a little bit further to take a look at what else is there. And we can do that. We can actually go ahead and move forward. I mean, we already know what's there. It's the rest of the ship. And again, that greenish glow with the lights is just so spooky. Now, you'll notice that most of the davits are gone, except this one, which just happens to disappear into the darkness there. So let me just go ahead and move the sub over so we can actually see it again. But yeah, that davit there was being used to reel in the collapsible moments before this deck actually flooded. So it's a surprise that it still remains like this today, and it wasn't ripped off like the rest of the davits. So yeah, a bit of interesting history there. But let's go ahead, let's move forward. I know you guys want to see the grand staircase, so let's go ahead and let's take a look at it. Well, it's not really a staircase anymore. It's more like just a hole that goes straight down into the heart of the ship, and it's like that today. And the only staircase that remains is F deck, E deck, and D deck. They still remain as metal, like, beams, but everything else was lifted out of the ship because the staircase wasn't really held in super well. I think it was, like, held in mostly by gravity, so when the water came in, it just sort of floated up out through the broken dome, and yeah, it sort of just drifted away. I know that some pieces of it were actually recovered as well. Alright, so one thing I want to do is, like, keep the sub right here and go into photo mode and take a look at what it looks like inside the ship, with the lights beaming through the windows. Alright, so here we are in photo or cinematic mode, and if we go over here, we may be able to see it. Yep, look at that. And it also reminds me of, well, this photo here. This is a real photo of Titanic's A-deck promenade, just on the other side. So you can get an idea of what this would look like in real life. And what's even more amazing is the light is not only shining into the promenade, but also into the remains of the grand staircase, which it's difficult to see, but there's light in here now, which is really cool. And it's not just from above, it's actually through the windows. But another area to look at is, well, the D-deck open door. Now, this door actually fell off and is now in a museum, which is also really cool. Wow, that looks amazing. Look at that. I mean, as you can see, there's the sub, and it's got all those spotlights shining through the windows into the reception room. Very cool. So looking at the bow, we've got an amazing view on it here, and you can see the bridge is, well, the bridge is destroyed like it is today, but the mast is looking good, and it's looking like it was in 1985. Unfortunately, today it has since collapsed and now is sort of just laying on the deck. You'll also notice there's a crow's nest. In reality, that is gone today. It was there in 1985, but apparently a sub knocked into it and it's gone. So what we're going to do now is we are going to go to the surface and then we're going to return back in diving gear so we can go into the ship. So this will be cool. Alright, so we're back at the surface, and what we're going to do is we're going to hop out and we're going to go down to the bottom. But this time, we're gonna make sure it's daytime so we can actually see the interior. I know we have a flashlight, but it is a bit better to have it so it's daytime so we can actually know where we're going instead of just getting lost and then eventually dying. And now you can see the wreck in its full glory, from the bow to, well, not really the stern. The stern's sort of gone because it broke in two and it isn't really represented here right now. What we're gonna do is let's go ahead and let's explore the forward parts here. So we'll go down to the third class open space, and I'm not going to close the doors behind me because I think the ship has taken on enough water to not really worry about doors being left open. So here we are in the third class open space, and now we don't even need to take the stairs. We can just go down this way. So here we go, and here we have Scotland Road. Alright, so here we have the grand staircase. Let's go this way, and yep, this is what I mean with just the beams remaining on the grand staircase. I mean, they're just the beams. So there we go. Let's go down to F deck. And this looks pretty good. I mean, in reality, there is no door here. It really is just a hole in the wall. And there is a wall here, but it is really deteriorated. And you can see that there, so that's nice. And yeah, look at this. I mean, some of this is not here today, but some of it is. Like the chairs, it's just missing their centers and whatnot. All the fabric is gone, of course. And let's go over to the pool. Alright, the pool is, well, I'm not going to make that joke, but it is in perfect condition. So there we go. Now going up to D-deck, we saw this earlier with the light shining in, but now we can actually see the whole thing. And wow, we actually have some of the dining room accessible. As you can see, once again, D-deck is the last staircase remaining before it's just basically open all the way up. So we're going to go this way. We're going to see what else there is to offer. Alright, so for anybody that's transporting mail on the Titanic, or anybody that was transporting mail on the Titanic, I do have some unfortunate news. The ship did sink, so the mailroom is sort of like waterlogged, so your mail is not going to make it to its destination on time or ever. Alright, so saying goodbye to that, let's go up to one of the private suites on board the Titanic. So let's see if they're actually here. And yes, they are. And look at that. The clock is in place, and it seems to actually work. And the purser's office, well, that's looking great, too. I mean, it's all intact. It's all in one piece. I'm surprised some of this wood has survived. Alright, so let's go into the officer's quarters. See what's this way. Alright, here we go. Let's take a look at that Marconi room, and look at that, there's the bit of the expansion joint opened up. The Marconi room is looking really good, and we do have the access to skylight opening all the way up here, and that is realistic. So let's go over to the bridge, or I should say lack of bridge. It's really only the wheelhouse, and the rest is just sort of collapsed and, well, missing. And here we have the telemotor, which still stands here today. Now, I do want to take a look at that brake area one last time, and I think that'll be it. We'll return to the surface, and that will be our mini tour of the Titanic wreck. Unfortunately, because of the sediment, we can't actually see the boilers in their full glory, but we can see the coal bunkers, which are actually modeled into this build. I think they're also modeled into Ice Monsters Olympic as well, which is super cool. Alright, so that does conclude my short tour on board Ice Monster 360's Titanic wreck. If you want to check it out for yourself, a download link will be in the description so you can check out some more interiors that I may have missed. So yeah, guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and a comment, and I'll see you soon, guys. Goodbye.